So, with those staggering numbers in mind, how does GPE think about bringing this all together? How do we catalyze the resources that are needed to invest in the infrastructure and in the learning technologies? How do we also then provide some type of solution to improving teacher presence, to increase learning, to strengthen the institutions, and also acknowledge the huge role that the private sector has in providing education? I think on the African continent, we have about a third of all students go to private schools for primary school. How does GPE and your team bring together these building blocks that we've talked about and that you've laid out so clearly over the past hour to kind of move this agenda forward?
So GPE does basically three things. I mean, the first one is the advocacy, which we were talking, so making sure that not an opportunity is missed for the leader of the world to be reminded that education is critical and is a priority and they should be laser focused on education or the counterfactual or non-investing in education. The second one is obviously the financing part. So GPE is a pretty successful machine to centralize resources. And then the third part, which I think is the most important, is the work that we do with the country. And when I am asked why is GPE different from other organizations, I say that the single most important letter in GPE is the P, is the partnership element, because GPE at the country level brings together around one single table all the parties that are involved in financing and implementing the education sector. So on the board of GPE, and then translated at the country level in the local education group, we have representative of civil society or private sector, we have the teacher association, we have, of course, donors, we have, and of course, the government. And so by having this one single conversation, first of all, we avoid the duplication, the enormous transaction cost of having to have 7 different streams that somehow they never seem to converge in the same direction. At least that has been often my experience. But also the part that is most important is that we help countries confront the very difficult choices, because the reality is that each and every one of the countries where we work, and we work in over 90 countries, all the lower income, middle income countries, etc., they have very high needs and limited resources. So the exercise is just to be, if I only have resources to do 3 things out of the 5 that I would like to do, which are the 3 things that will generate the best returns for my people, for our society, etc. That is as simple as this. And that is the conversation where I think having everybody around the table that really, helps government putting together their national strategy for the sector to transform the sector is really, a good business model that facilitates access for the government to a whole series of good practices that they can learn from, but also simplifies the transaction of putting together, support for national plans that are often very complicated.